let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go. Yeah, let's get go. Yeah, let it go. Help me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Yeah, help me let it go. Go, 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 go. Oh, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give it all to Jesus. Let it take control. Just sit and worship. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait, so you have to let it go. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Let it go. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband are falling in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I say let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if you say you will continue to be a zogo, if you say you will continue to be a prostitute, if you say you will continue to be a beggar, you will not marry, you will not bear your own children. If you say your need is borrow, Sunday coat.
All right, good afternoon, folks. What a beautiful Sunday here from the East Coast of the Liberia Public Radio. As usual, I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio. I want to welcome our viewers and listeners. As usual, we'll always get a pick from politicians, tech actors, and political leaders in Liberia relative to what is unfolding in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. Today, I will be having a special guest, Madam MacDella Cooper, is a political actor, a group calling it a movement for one Liberia, and also a member of the collaboration party. We're going to be discussing a wide range of issues right here this afternoon here. But in the meantime, from the Bay State of Massachusetts, our senior contributor, Mr. Jackson, is joining us just before our guests can come and see what we can pick. So let me just bring in Mr. Jackson here quickly. The rest of the folks going to be joining us here. All right, here we go. Let me see, Mr. Jackson, can you turn your camera on?
Yes, it's on.
Yeah. Okay, I think he's okay. Are you hearing me now?
I'm hearing you. I'm getting you.
Mr. Jackson, are you there?
Yes. Let me see.
All right, I'm not getting him. Let me just get him out and see maybe he can come back on. So just bear with us. We will soon be we'll soon get a program going here. Just bear with us in the meantime, and we will have a discussion here very shortly here on the Liberia Public Radio. I'm Alfonso Ziensot, our man for fun. Good afternoon. Welcome, Mr. Carr. VP Carr, welcome. Do other favors, just hit the share button as well. But let's just give you a feedback. Who is MacDella Cooper? Is a political leader, also a major player in Liberia.
Her wonderful star-studded benefit here in New York City, MacDella Cooper has been called Liberia's angel, and she's here to share how she's helping in the fight against Ebola. And welcome to the show.
We're so excited to have you.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your background. I know you were born in Liberia and you fled the country in 1990.
Let's get a little take.
Yes, after the Civil War,
let's get a pick of MacDella Cooper there, the political leader.
Ivory Coast, and waited 2.5 years and made my way to the U.S. after we got clearance to come to the U.S. to meet my mom for the first time after so many years.
Wow.
It was a really strange reunion. But we came to Newark, New Jersey in the projects, and it was a big cultural shock for me because, growing up in Africa, you sort of watch movies and you learn about in America that has a lot of big white houses and picket fences and families are always very happy. And but
Newark was the opposite.
And I thought, well, what is this America? Where is that America that I was seeing on TV? So But yeah, it was great to be here in America. It was great to be away from the violence and the war and
okay, let me just pause this here a little bit and bring in Mr. Jackson here because our guest will soon be joining us here, and then later on you can. Mr. Jackson, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for joining us here, and we are happy that to be tapping into your expertise right here on the Liberia Public Radio. Look, the politics in Liberia is endless. We've been talking over and over. We just hearing another 15K already dropped. We are looking for alternatives in Liberia. I will be talking to MacDella, who is a major political leaders and part of the collaboration here. As you may know, she took part in the 2017 presidential runoff in Liberia. So with all of this that going on, how can the opposition make an adequate case against the ruling establishment? Are they on course with what they are doing so far, you think?
She will be able to tell us more. If I say yes, maybe she will try to tell us, how best she is in terms of, of political movement or affiliation, with, the political party or the ruling party if she want to. So we look forward, to hear from her to what she will say, to the public.
What do you make of the process ongoing so far, Mr. Jackson? Have you seen what is happening in the media, both print and electronic, and seeing vividly what is happening to the politicians and all of that? What do you make of it? And I know this is a very controversial thing. One of these 30,000, the last one is being disbursed, is part of the law. So how can we argue that out? Because other people will say, wait a minute, it was put in the book and it was voted upon, so why should we override it at this time? How can we argue that?
Well, there are so many, theory that people who apply, to this $130,000. And I have, one argument that I'm making. They assume that if I were to employ you as my controller and you do embedded, and $30,000, into, the budget unknowingly or as MPRs, and executive chair, and there was a pronouncement that you made to appoint me unknowingly. And I just slipped through, and you signed it. And later on, you found out that no, you didn't go through the crowd scrutiny. I think you had the right, to say you will rescind it. I will also I will apply that same theory that if the Liberian people didn't feel satisfied, and that's what done, and without their acquiescence, I will believe that it's time, that they appeal, to the House so that they can reclass that money, and go back into the appropriate use rather than, just teaching out $30,000 every, to people. I think the House was mailed to me for them to be, taking their own project. This is why we have government ministry, we have, organization, for them to make sure they carry on this project. Or else we not need to have public works, we don't need to have any other, construction unit to carry on these things. This is the time I feel that the political party, they need to pounce, on, the ruling party to come on, to do something. And they could come on, with some formula, to advise the government on this because it's not settling down with the Liberian people. And this is the time I think they need to do something.
So when you say to pound on the government, okay, that's another alternative here. But how can you even pound on the government? Okay, I believe our guest is here. Let's see. How can you pound on the government when you are also on the receiving end here? Let's quickly make your point, and I'm going to be bringing our guest. She's standing by in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia, a strong political actor, a philanthropist turned politician. I don't know why people are changing their profession overnight. This is quite amazing. Probably I need to do that as well. But quickly, before I bring in Madame Kopo here, how can they argue when there are folks on Capitol Hill, they themselves receiving, and we are hearing now the second consignment is being disbursed?
Because everybody, benefiting from the coffin. It's almost like a diamond mine. Everybody can go there now and dig without any license. Nobody query anybody. Nobody take accountability. This is why everybody now, when you go to LU, all you need to do is to make sure you do political science. And if you can dance, it's the expressing. You see.
But is that arguable?
That's not,
So how can they put their fingers in the eyes of the government? And that's what I'm going to be hearing. I'll be asking her as well, because I know someone that she's very vocal to the issue, but I haven't heard it. Probably I'll be making the wrong judgment of her. Maybe she has spoken out, but I would like to get it from the house's mouth here. So quickly here, before I bring her in, the process is kind of really dicey now. We don't know who is who. We don't know what is going on. We saw our man Delon. The little, whatever. Was not honest with the Liberian people. Someone who most Liberians see as a light, but I don't see no condemnation or on the part of the opposition. Are they honest with that?
Well, Delon tried to feed that he honest, but to me, whatsoever that was put in a budget, all I want to know is they don't know about it first. And if so, why they couldn't tell the people? Because if we were to empower you as a light for the rest of the Liberian people, I feel that whatever put in a budget, you should be able to tell us. One of the things I noticed people are not being done that in the state they do is every office have their their analysts. They have a financial analyst, they get the economics. And these people go and analyze the budget, to let, and the representative or senator know what is in there. Because they are not financial or none are they economics or, all they do, but they do that. So sometimes these things fall through the cracks and only to find out that it has been approved and they are ashamed, sometimes to come out. I don't know whether it fall in the shoe of Delon, but this is the time now. This should be a learning course for them. That before you sign up to the budget, make sure you analyze the budget to me.
Make sure you analyze the budgets. Okay, my guest is standing by. I'm going to be bringing you up. Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson. Hopefully, right after an exclusive, you can join us, and we're going to be getting reaction from the audience as well. Thank you so much, and hopefully you stay safe in the Bay State of Massachusetts.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. She started her journey for quite a long way.
So when you came here, what was your direction? What were you like? This is what I'm going to be doing for my destiny.
Well, when I first came, I was really interested in fashion. And my mom, being this typical African mom, she said, there's no way you're going to major in fashion. So you're going to go to school, you're going to major to become in something that will maybe...
lawyer, doctor, engineer. Yeah, absolutely. I have
Indian your transition is taking place from fashion, philanthropy, from philanthropy
and thinking electronic communications. She didn't know.
Career. That's how it looks.
That sounds good.
Let me just get this out there and bring her here. Let's see here. We have had this conversation before. A lot is unfolding. Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson. I'm going to be right back with you later on. Let me bring in the guest. Okay, we want to welcome our viewers and listeners. Let's join our special guest in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. There she is a strong political voice, making her second appearance here. I hope I'm not being pain in the neck, but we got to hold all accountable, including ourselves right here at LPR and any other Liberian as well. So let's bring in our guest. She's already here. I don't think I need an introduction, but every day we have new faces here. Madam, good evening from Motherland, Liberia.
Thank you, Alfonso. It's good to be here with you.
Okay, good. All right. Good to be here. How is Liberia this evening and the rest of the time? I mean, this COVID has been crazy out there.
Well, Alfonso, actually, I just left Liberia a few days ago, and I'm now in Dakar, the city of Dakar. And yeah, so I'm not currently in Monrovia, but I'm in Dakar.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm curious in Dakar. What's going on? 2023 and all of these things here. Are you building a war, political war around? Seeking consultation.
You always have to do that.
Okay, all right. Thank you that you are in good health, and thank you for honoring our invitation. So despite of you being outside from the country here. But on a serious note, there are a lot of issues ongoing. We need to talk. Were you in Liberia when this last wave of COVID hit the country?
Absolutely. When I guess some folks call it third wave, while others refer to it as a second wave, but whatever the number is, it doesn't matter because we are being hit hard with this virus, and I don't see any hope of us getting. Of course, it's we're gonna get through it, but it's gonna be a harsh reality before we can get through it. A lot of my friends have fallen ill to the virus, and and even friends who had been very careful, they are now down with the virus. So it looks pretty bad. It looks bad, but it depends on your vantage point. Everyone has a different opinion, and some folks think we're gonna get through this very quickly, and some folks think it's gonna take a while. Since we still have a huge population that are not vaccinated, so it just depends on which aisle you are.
All right. And I had to say this here, but Madam Coport, there are a lot of blame game in terms of national leaders or somebody somewhere down the road kick the can down this road here. What is your take on this whole COVID here? Was it they didn't see it coming, or what went wrong? Who can we hold anybody responsible?
Well, we've been having several conversations about this very question you just posed, and a lot of people just feel there was a major neglect at the point of entry into the country, and that is how this this particular variant that is currently in the country, this particular variant came in because we were not careful at the airport. We have become too sort of relaxed. The mask wearing, the checking folks, making sure folks are coming in with the right documents. And, because of the harsh reality that we're currently living under in Liberia, many people have to make daily wage or make ends meet by doing all sorts of things. And when you're working for an institution like the Entry Point, and you have these individuals coming in, whether they're sick and they give you something, look, they get passed through and they're not properly checked. So who to blame? We have to blame the system, of course. The system is the one that is in control. The system is the one that's responsible. The system is the one that is currently in charge. So if the system is just not working, nothing is going to work. And so now folks came in from Asia with the virus. They were not properly checked. And now we have this virus spread all across the country. So who's to blame? It's the system.
Systems. Let's be a little bit clearer here. And that's how politicians always speak in specific tone, but not all of our viewers and listeners, I kind of grab that piece of bite here. The system. Who are you referring to specifically, Madam Cooper?
Well, no, I don't have any specific names, but when you look at the system, who controls the system at the moment? The system is controlled by the ruling establishment, and the ruling establishment is the one who's governing the nation at the moment. And so the system is being controlled by those who are in charge, which is the ruling establishment, which is this administration, which is the government is the government. It's always going to be a government in Liberia because we are led by a government. And so who runs the system? The administration that is voted into power to run the system at the moment.
So in a nutshell, is the government you are making reference to. Let's get it right.
This administration of government. This administration is in charge of the government. So government always stays, but there are different administrations that come in. So you have a George Weah-led administration that is governing at the moment.
So with this here, to be honest, this has been in the news cycle, both print and electronic media. We know where it was coming from by the USA and other places. There was some airline. I hosted Dr. Dubenya here, and he was very crystal. He went to Liberia. So why the authorities, you think, why they never acted on this sort of information that was coming? Because there was a red flag. Why they never acted?
Well, who knows, Alfonso? There are so many things that are being neglected in our country at the moment. So this is just one of the things that we're not taking seriously. Maybe, look, the airport, I will say this much. the airport was not under proper leadership. And I don't want to dive too much into that statement, but it was not under proper leadership, or maybe this is the employees of the airport. They were very relaxed and lax about checking folks as they came in. We also had a situation in Liberia where diplomats who are coming from these countries, they didn't need screening at the airport. They had to just, they had to go home and sort of quarantine themselves after they were let into the country. Look, no matter who you are, you have to be checked. Diplomats or non-diplomats, government official or non-government official. So there are so many rules coming from different arenas and different directions. And the airport, the workers at the airport, who knows? I'm sure after all of the readings and the research to find out how this second wave hit our country, it came through the point of entry, and most likely the airport, the Roberts International Airport.
So can we say the system is broken?
The system is massively broken. The system is massively broken, not just broken, it's massively broken.
Okay, we saw talking about the system and someone that is in charge, of course, either what they call a managing director or whatever director. The president took a decision. Is that sufficient? By removing the MD at the Roberts International Airport. Is that sufficient?
Well, when you remove someone, it's important to put someone there who everyone has confidence that is more qualified. And the deputy young gentleman named Martin was elevated to the managing directorship. Does Martin have the ability to do what's necessary? I don't know. So at this moment, we're just going to have to wait it out and see. Because if you were taking one person out and putting someone in that we trusted was going to actually get the job done without bias, then we would feel more confident. But it's just another partisan that was put in. So at this moment, we have no confidence that if he hadn't been a partisan, he wouldn't have gotten that job. So it's just another partisan, which you know for a fact that when you just appoint people based on their commitment to your political party or institution without having a qualification, you have no hope. We have no hope in what this person's ability is beyond just being a committed partisan.
Do you think crime was committed?
A crime was committed by hiring the
no, because I'm saying this here, maybe from the layperson context, and I could be wrong, heading a hair of my shadow here. People in the first place had no business of coming. They shouldn't have allowed these people to come. There are so many things we've been hearing in the news cycle. They are not coming forth. People dying, and people are still dying. Now, someone who manages the affair is being released. So do we need to know further why that person was released? And if the person is released, do they need to turn over? That's another aspect. That's another talking point itself. When people are released, if there's a crime, assuming it's a crime, they should be turned over to the Department of Justice or the Ministry of Justice for the Liberian people, or for us to know what has happened. But what we do know, people have died because of some careless administrative decisions or actions wasn't taken. So I'm asking, do you think crime was committed in this case?
Well, yes, I'm sure if there were a proper system in place that would do a proper investigation, we would see that there was some sort of neglect. There was failure on the part of the airport to screen individuals coming in, and now they've caused a great, danger to causing lives. Actually, people have died from this virus, which was unnecessary and untimely. But if we had a system in place, if we investigated, you would see there was so much neglect. There was so much manipulation, and so, like you said, and I agree, the system is massively broken, and we don't have the systems in place to properly investigate anything. As you know, the series of crises we've had since this administration have come in, there's no proper investigation for anything. So we live in a culture of impunity. Everything that happens, no one gets caught with their hands in the crime, and so we are not going to have the answers we could potentially have because there is no system in place. There is nothing. We are a country barely surviving. I don't even know. Sometimes I think, how are we living in this country when there is no system? There should be one. There should be one, but there is nothing. There is no proper legal investigation. There is no DOJ or MOJ. It's nothing will be done because the system doesn't function in the way it should function.
Okay, let me ask you this question here. You are a public figure, so we also want to know. I want to know whether you have taken your vaccine.
The
COVID vaccine.
have not taken the vaccination in Liberia, but I do have all intention to take the vaccination. It is critical. It is important. I have just been waiting for the proper arrangements to have the vaccine taken. So I think by next week I will have the vaccine.
When you say proper arrangement, what sort of arrangement? What are you making?
Well, I just, as a public, sorry?
You're trying to make sure whether the vaccine is going to work, or apprehensions about the vaccine. Is that the case?
No, just having access to it. I have not had the privilege of having access to it, so I have not had it administered to me. But once I have access to it, and I think I just found a local doctor who in a place here that can give it to me, so I'm going to have the vaccine taken.
Okay, so we're poking in the eyes of the government. You being one of the strong voices, you always speak on issues. Have you made any formal recommendation to national government as to how they can go about to tackle this and maybe point out some of the flaws? Have you done that?
Alfonso, the reality is everyone has spoken, and we all have offered our support to this administration. We've offered our time, we offer whatever that could be offered, and they're not willing to listen to anyone. They're not willing to hear anyone, because the general sense is that, look, we were elected, you were not, and so we don't care for your opinion. That's the general attitude. So with that sort of attitude, our country, sorry?
No, let me ask you, is that you making assertions or you making a thing from past history? But I'm just talking what is happening now. Have you offered your services? Have you offered yourself or your party in any form or shape to be part of the fight in the COVID in Liberia? That's what I'm asking.
Look, we don't administer the government right now. We don't run the government. So the decision has to come from those who are actually in the position of government to invite us. We can only offer ourselves. We can offer help. We can offer our assistance, our institutions, but they have not accepted our invitation. So what do? We cannot force ourselves in agencies of government to say, I'm going to do this. We cannot go to the Minister of Health to say that we're coming into there to do this. We have to offer and let them know we are here, we give our support, and if they accept, we will be called into meetings, we'll be called into I guess, any activities that they're doing, but our offers are not accepted. So you sit back and you help the communities you can help, you help those who you can help, and that's all we can do at this moment. But we've been offering our help since the beginning of this administration, and even up to now in this health crisis. But we are, again, I will reiterate, we are just individuals who are seen as we're not voted, so those who are voted have the opinion, and so they do what they want, unfortunately.
Well, that's quite interesting. Mr. Jackson, don't hesitate if you want to pop in here as well. Don't hesitate.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to come in?
Can I? Yes. Madam Cooper, thank you, and welcome to NPR.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's good to be here with you. Yes.
As a political leader, you did talk about the system, right? The structure is broken. I just wanted to ask you one question in regards to to the system. What advice would you like to give to the government, to see how best they could manage the $75 that people pay, when they are entering, for COVID? And we found out that COVID is one of those that is affecting the people. What advice have you made, or would you like to make to the government?
Well, first of all, if you're paying $75, that means you are coming from the United States or another country. We from West Africa with West African passports, we pay $50. And so I will advise the government, as I said early on, it's important that everyone, including our diplomatic partners, our friends, everyone gets proper screening. Now, most people have complained, and again, I'm saying this lightly, that even when they pay that so-called $75 or $50, oftentimes they do not get the results from the test at the airport. So if you pay your money, the test is administered, you leave, and you don't know if you're COVID positive or COVID negative. So it didn't come across as though the interest was only that $75 or $50 paid by the folks coming in the point of entry. So, meaning we didn't care. The government itself, or whoever was in charge of the staff at the airport, did not care so much about COVID coming to the country. All they cared about was the $75 or the $50. So our focus at the moment was not so much the health of the country, it was more how we can collect revenue. And where is that money going? Where's the money? There has been no audit report to show what your money or my money is going towards. So when I talk about a system that's malfunction, this is some of the things we're talking about because we're paying attention. But as leaders or political figures or opinion leaders, we just cannot complain about every aspect of things we see that is not functioning or working in the country. But we are aware of every aspect of everything. At least I am to some degree.
So let me ask you this here. Let me put on a bigger skill here. You are, let me just try to validate this information again. You are a member, your party is a member of the collaboration. That is the 4 political parties. Am I correct?
No, not at all. We're independent, but we are part of the opposition bloc. Yes, we are fully opposition. But we're not part of CPP.
Why? Any reason?
Well, it's just, you don't ask to be married to, someone has to ask you to be married. But we fully in clear communication, good relationship with the collaborating political parties.
It seems to me, and I have followed your activities, I see your interviews internationally, other places yet. It seems to me something is still not right for which you're still holding on. Am I correct?
Something is not right?
Yeah, probably there are some things here, some things you still not see clear within the collaboration. You are a member of the opposition. They are opposition. And ultimately, the goal of the opposition is to replace this CDC-led government. And somebody might be worried. Right. I'm a curious guy here. Why will this powerful leader is not part of the collaboration? And that, even though to your point it makes sense here, but do you have some concerns for which you think that you are still holding back?
No, not at all. Like I said, most things the collaborating political parties do, they invite me, I show up, I go, and I attend. We're all very good friends. All of the 4 political parties that is member or that are members of that makes up the CPP, we're all friends. The Liberty Party, the Unity Party, ALP, as well as what's the last one? There's one more. Alex Scott-Lee's party. ANC, correct. We're all friends. We have ongoing conversations. We share information. Look, I just have not received an invitation from the collaborating political parties to say we would like the MOL to come and join us. It has not happened. So I don't think the question is on me. I think it's more so on the collaborating political parties to say why you have not invited the Movement for One Liberia to be a part of what, you all try. But again, irrespective of whether I receive that invitation or not, I consider myself a major member or part of the opposition bloc. And like you said, yes, we're going to work extremely hard to remove this administration in 2023, and that is our overall agenda. I think all of those institutions, the 4 political parties have to go to their party's primaries to get their rightful political leadership or stand-up bearership. And once the leaders of those 4 parties get their stand-up bearership, then they're going to go to a CPP convention. And so we, in the Movement for One Liberia, we fully support the opposition bloc.
And our agenda is to make sure we fight against this administration to get him out in 2023. No holds barred. So whether I'm inside or outside CPP, we're going to work together. And even if any member of those institutions are not the leading candidate in 2024, 2023, we are all going to support each other. That's just the agenda. Because this administration has to be a one-term administration and they got to be gone. And I'm saying it with, look, this is a competition. It's like sports. I'm on my team. I want the next team to win. I want my team to win, the next team to lose. So there we go. And no one should take it personally. It's just they got to go. They're not serving our nation the way we in the opposition bloc hope they would.
Madam Kopo, you are the leader of the movement for One Liberia. What is the spending of your political party in terms of what is ahead? What is the spending of your political party now?
Well, look, we're the newest kid on the block. We are just a year old. Our anniversary, 1 year anniversary was in March. At least from the day we were approved as a political institution. So when some folks would say, well, MacDella Cooper, she's strong, she's educated, she got a qualification, but she's young. I'm 44, going to be 45. I'm not comparing myself to the United States, I'm comparing Liberia to the United States. At 44, that's no young person. Barack Obama was 42, 43 when he was appointed into leadership. So, but on the African continent, in our country, traditionally, you have to have enough brain to prove that you are ready. So, look, we're here. The movement for One Liberia is here to stay. We're working hard. We're opening offices across the country. We're making our presence felt in the communities. And so we are going to do what we are able to do. Getting this administration out, winning 2023, it's not going to be a one-party thing. The opposition has to band together. They have to make wise decisions to see who is the rightful person that we can get on a ticket to knock this administration out. This CDC-led government. It's simple as that. So whether the movement for One Liberia is the youngest or the newest kid on the block, or we are not considered or we're considered, we are going to give a strong support to the right person, if not us, to make sure 2023 is a game changer. And I think we might be that game changer in the midst of all of this.
So then it brings me into another talking point, if I can borrow your voice a little bit here. The people, opposition should make wise decisions.
Absolutely.
Are they making a wise decision right now?
Well, here's the thing. I think you have watched this WWF Royal Rumble, right?
Oh my goodness, politicians!
Let me take you back for a minute.
Are you trying to take me into the Amagani ring now with WWF?
Well, I'm giving you a little scenario here, Alfonso. You see, the CPP might look chaotic at the moment because you got Bokai.
Are they chaotic? Are they chaotic right now?
No. Some people think it's chaotic. Some people think they're not making decisions. Some people think they're moving in direction they should be moving into, because oftentimes you hear Bokai going against companies.
And what are you thinking? I'm here to interrupt. Some people say, some people there. And what is your own conclusion in that? What are they doing?
Well, this is what I'm saying. It might seem chaotic at the moment, but you see, all of the four members, the four leaders, have to go back to their own institutions to fight to get that standard bearership. Once they have gotten the standard bearer, I'm a political leader of my institution. We know that. Cummings is, Bokai is, Yuri, as well as Yamika Lawrence, Senator Lawrence. They have to go back to the parties to win their primaries within their parties. Once they're done with that, then all four members would come on the stage like you saw during the Republican or the Democratic primaries in the United States. The four of them, one has to win, one. And until that, they have to fight for the number one position in the CPP.
I think they are the ones here, right?
That's all four members, yes.
The hands they're holding here, Ty. Let me ask you. I don't want to get you off track. I see Banana Urea get hands in your pocket. Ellis Comey on the other side. Nyombli Kanga there. Ambassador Boyka there. Do they look attentive? You think that's the right thing they're doing there?
Well, yes, you have to show unity, of course. We're in the opposition. You have to show unity, and actually, they're all together. The opposition is together. But in the midst of being together, there are primaries. There are no political. You cannot do without the primary. It's important. So behind the scene, everyone's friends. Everyone's connected. You have to win the primary. You saw Kamala Harris going strongly against Joe Biden. They were fighting for the nomination. And so we cannot do without this fight that each member is putting on. As you can already see, Ben Urey, he's not fighting because he knows he's not going to go for the number one. He doesn't want a nomination for the CPP. He's not interested. That's my view. But you see someone like Bokai, you see someone like Cummings, and you see Yummy is being very cool. So now the competition is between Bokai and Cummings. They have to go on. They have to fight against each other to show they are individually the strongest person to lead to take the nomination. So they're not. We're not. The opposition is not falling apart. They're not.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, come here. And now this comment coming here.
Okay.
This is my very first time hearing someone speak this way about this government with no fear, much respect, lady. Wow. Okay.
Madam Cooper.
Yes.
You seem to be a very bright and articulate person. Is there any reason why the government has not been able to tap into your resource?
Sam, that's a great question. Look, that's a question that they're going to have to answer. But my view is, I'm a person who's into checks and balances. Maybe that's something that they don't want. I don't know. I'm not a seditious. I've never have been, and so I think this administration is more concerned about giving, positions to their partisans versus those of us who are on the outside. And I've been very vocal about my position with this administration. It's what the people wanted. As you can see, the people got what they wanted, and now they're saying, well, we thought this was it, but maybe not. And so I want that to go through 2023. I want to see a change of administration in 2023. So they're not going to offer me any position. I'm not counting on it. I'm not holding my breath on it. And I don't blame them, because if I was this vocal about them and they give me a position, I'd probably have to shut up. And I don't intend to shut up right now. So no job is going to shut me up. This administration is just not doing what it should be doing. They need to be out 2023.
It is your country, Madam Cooper. Let me step in here. It is your country. If phone call to come in today, hey, even though we have not agreed with some of your talking points, but you know what? This is all about Liberia. Can you come into work? What will you say?
It depends on what's the agenda. You have to have an agenda. You have this thing called the Pro-Poor Agenda for Prosperity. Now, that to me is a copy and paste from the I want to call it Millennium Development Goal, but now it's the SDGs. So it's a copy paste of identifying a series of problems and without any tangible solutions. What's the solution to bring? What's the economic plan to bring the underemployed, the undereducated, all these folks who are considered poor? What's the agenda? What's the economic plan to relieve them from that position and maybe give them a job? What's the job creation plan? What's the economic plan to move Liberia from where we are to where we need to be? We are mismanaging funds. Every fund that has been entrusted to this administration has been mismanaged. You don't expect them to, in the middle of the term, to now start properly managing funds. If our partners don't come to our aid, nothing gets done. We don't know how to make money. So what is the government's plan? What is this administration's plan for recovery? You always hear about stimulus package, resources being brought into the country by our partners. but then you hear about the mismanagement of those very funds. It's a turnoff. It's like we don't know when we have problems, we identify the problems, but when the support comes, money gets missing, no accountability, auditors gets killed. I mean, come on, what kind of a government is this? And we sit back and we're so afraid in Liberia. Most people, because they don't have the protection, we don't have the security around us, so most people cannot say anything. But the reality is, if we could speak freely, you will see that, look, there's still answers for a lot of resources that are mismanaged. Sorry?
Are you not speaking freely?
I am. On your show, I am. I always have been speaking freely, but I'm not the only. There are 4.6 million people in the Republic of Liberia. And if we had at least 2.5 million speaking freely, there would be a demand for answers. And we don't have the answers we want. So people, and we're now as a republic, we're living a culture of impunity. Folks with the honorable names are doing all sorts of atrocities, and no one can say anything except the very few of us who have the guts to say something.
That's quite interesting. Okay, let's twist the wheel here a little bit, folks. For those of you joining us, I'm on the line here with Madam MacDella Cooper, is the political leader of a group, political group, Movement for One Liberia. By the way, let me see here. Let's see some of these comments here. Let's display. Font Montplet Agostino. This lady is very sound, and one needs to listen and take into consideration why we are preparing for 2023. The system in our country is broken and needs to be fixed. So yeah, your argument has been fully validated. Let me get your take on this here. It's been so much in the corner, and I know you have heard about this issue of this 15K, 30K, and I know strategically, politically, it's on purpose, but our politicians, the lawmakers on Capitol Hill, put that into the they make a law so that we can put a hook on us. We can argue that. What's your take on this whole 15, 30K, considering what is happening right now?
Oh, look, I say, and I have a very unique position on this. Number one, there's so much resources that is missing from our national budget. And we don't have answers, like I said previously, on these missing monies. Today, we are all arguing and talking about this 15K that went to the lawmakers. I'm not condoning lawmakers take monies that's supposed to be there to fight this COVID crisis we're facing, to pocket it. But if we're going to question, if we have the audacity to question these lawmakers as to what's being done with this money, why they took this money, we should then go to the executive branch and ask for every other dollar that has been missing. So why do we have the courage and the audacity to ask these lawmakers when we don't have the courage and audacity to ask the executive branch to give us answers for all of the monies that's missing? And again, for me at this moment, again, I want to reiterate, I'm not condoning the legislation, the House of Upper House of Senate and Lower House of Representatives accepting this money, and some of them had valid arguments that they were going to do development or help with the COVID cases, COVID crisis in their communities. But I think we're spending too much time on this. It came at a really horrible time, but don't forget, we just had the first wave. There was $25 million that came in as a stimulus package. That there's no answer for that money, and we're focusing on $15,000 that goes to representative. I said if we're going to ask, let's ask the executive branch to give us answers as much as we're asking the Congress or legislature for answers. So that's my position, and that's why I said in the beginning, it's a very unique position. Let's ask everyone to give us answers, not just the legislature.
Yeah, but your argument, it reminds me of there's a Chinese show way back, Roxy Cinema, Black Dragon Revenge the Death of Bruce Lee. That's why we
That's right. I remember that one.
Okay. The executive took it. They are the first. But let's have a discussion here. They are the first branch of government. They should bring check and balances on the executive branch of government. Now, let's say the executive kick the can down the road. They too now they have slaughtered the can down the road. So it becomes a visual cycle. They do it, nothing come. Let us do it. So who is representing us? And if you want to succeed this government, and you can't, like you rightfully say, you can't make a wise decision at this sort of consequential time. I don't know why it was put there in the first place. Okay, let's assume it was put there. I don't know any of them that have come out to say they have gone to, or maybe your own constituents, any of the lawmaker ever came there and say, hey, in 3-4 months or down the road, we'll be getting 15,000, 30,000 in total here. What can we do? Have you heard that from any of them? That's been really dishonest.
It absolutely is. But this is not the first scenario. There are many cases where funds have come in and representatives, senators do not come back and talk about the plan. And I don't understand why we have this culture in the country where nothing is explained, nothing is talked about. We send lawmakers into we send them to the House of Legislature, and they go there to represent districts, counties. But there's no communication as to what's happening. I never heard about funds coming in. I live in the Yekakoliba district. I never heard about funds. I never heard about any development that was coming or COVID support.
He's in the opposition column, correct?
He's one of our guys, yes.
Are you surprised?
No, but I'm saying this is an ongoing thing. Other parts of the world, you would have district representatives will come and post out flyers. We had a meeting. This is what we decided to do, called town hall meeting. No town hall meetings. The constituents don't hear nothing. Sometimes you see things happening. Maybe you hear rumors about a school being built or a hospital or clinic being built. But it's not like in big countries where there is a communication between the representative office and the district. You know nothing. If someone goes in for 4 years or 9 years, whatever they come back with, okay. So
have you followed through with the local office in the district? You are based in Representative Koluba's districts. Is there any local office that you, as a prominent Liberians and major actors, have you expressed in your district?
No, I don't. I'm not aware of the office. No, I can't say I do.
What does that tell you?
That's just a system that when you talk about a system that's not functioning, I'm sure he came and made the system like that, and he continued. But I must do my research to confirm there is or there is not an office before I can say more on that. But it's a system. It's a system. It's most places you don't see the district offices. You don't have a communication, not even a flyer. And I'm not putting this on Honorable Koluba or Yeka Koluba. I'm just saying this is how it is across the country. And we don't get the communication. As a prominent member of the community, we should be calling to town hall meetings to talk about where roads are going to be built, where development is going to take place, what's happening in the district. I've never been invited. So oftentimes we're focused on talking to the chairman of the district, of the district and the community. So those are the people we talk to most of the time. I've never seen my representative. And again, I want to stress, I don't think Bieka came in and created this system. I don't think he did, but he made it like that and it's continuing like that. We don't get communicated to.
Somebody listening might say that tone look like a political correctness. You are a member of the opposition, so you don't want to throw somebody under the bus.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm not afraid to say the truth, and anyone's free to say whatever truth they know about. They want to say at me. I'm a big girl. I accept the truth. So it's not political correctness. It's my opinion. It's my position. I've never seen a district office, and we do have Bieka who came in a few years ago, and so we need to maybe propose to him to make sure his office in the district is communicating with us, so that if there are issues on laws that needs to be passed that we can be a part of, or something that's affecting our community, we need to be to know. That's how a proper representatives work across the board.
Yeah, we're not trying to base on here. Okay, Pat Jackson, Mr. Jackson, come in, then I will follow up.
Yeah, Madam Cooper, I have problem understanding, legislative project. The definition does not really define, as to what it looks like. Have any of the political party asked, in the House to ask them what do they define as the project and what actually entails, to the constituent or to the county or to the, district.
Wait, Sam, I missed a little part of that. The audio went out for a minute.
What is the definition of legislative project as they define it? What does it really
The
entail?
legislative project, have they given a clear definition as what it is, what actually is legislative project?
Well, that's a great question. Or a lot of the women, the females, lawmakers that I spoke to, they decided they were going to use this particular resources to further development. One lady in particular mentioned she was going to invest these resources in a school that is there to serve as a high school. They started building, but it was never completed. So there's no high school in her district. The young people have to go outside the district to attend high school. So she was going to utilize these resources to complete a high school building so that all of the youth in her district can have access to high school and not have to go outside. That was her explanation. A few of them said they're going to use it for to help fight COVID by giving people resources in the communities. So they all had different variations of legislative projects within their districts. Whether that was agreed upon by their constituents or was a sole decision that they took, again, I was not in their war room when they were making that decision. So they all have a different sort of view on their projects that we're going to carry on with these resources.
Wow.
Then moving forward, what can we do, in terms of the citizen political party to clearly define it? Because one of the representatives said he doesn't know any answer as to how he spent his money. He said he could use it for anything.
Well, yeah, I think that was a statement that Mema Briggs put out, and I was part of that conversation with her. But I think it was taken out of context because she was the one who said she was going to use it to finish up a high school in her district in Bone County. So now the issue, and this is why you see in my early years, I've invested millions of dollars in the education sector, because the education sector is so critical to these issues we're discussing today. Today, here we are talking about how folks get voted into positions, they go away and you don't hear from them. Once in a while, you hear a big hoopla as to what they're using the resources for, or they don't come back to the district. Now, we have got to do a better job with educating our citizens, because with a certain level of education, folks can read the constitutions and all of the laws that governs the land, and in turn, they would know their rights. And the second reason why I strongly support education is folks will be able to read the Bible or the Quran, depending on what religion you follow or what faith you have. Education is so important to me, because now you have a national constitution in the Republic of Liberia. You have a constitution that was people who lost their lives in the early 80s. There was this coup d'etat, a few individuals got killed. We know the history of our nation. In 1986, there was a new constitution that came out as a result of folks saying we're not included in the constitution. And so they went back, they revamped the constitution, they amended the constitution. The new constitution was given birth to in 1986. So we're still living with that constitution. Folks lost their lives. The constitution was amended, but they forgot to include the rights of other folks that live in this country who make up 50 to 51% of the population. Those are the women of the country. I'm not going to dwell on this conversation too long, but I'm making a point here. You have a national constitution that refers to all citizens of the land as he. The only place a woman is mentioned, a female, a lady, a woman is mentioned, is in property sharing. That's the only area of the constitution where. So you have people who do not know what's in the national constitution, what the laws of the Republic of Liberia says, and so you have even lawmakers go into the House, their constituents vote them in, the constituents do not know why they're sending these individuals to the House to do. Very few people respond to the question of what is your lawmaker, why were they sent to the House to go, what are they doing there for you? Very few people will answer that question. And so, again, I don't want to bore you with this, but when you have a vast, we have a 37%, according to UNESCO, 37% education illiteracy rate. 37% literacy rate, sorry. So meaning we have about 60% who cannot read and write. How do they know their rights? How do they know what a leadership is supposed to do for them? How do they know what to expect for themselves in their communities? So we have to fight to make sure people can at least read and write, and not just the Congo people children. We have to make sure every citizen born to the Republic of Liberia, whether you call yourself Congo, indigenous, middle country civilized, every person must have access to education before the 18th birthday. And that is why we have to pass laws to make education in our country mandatory, so that people are not living in the dark and not knowing what to expect of government. And you are educated, both of you are educated. Afonso and Sam and myself sitting here, we're educated, so we know how to demand answers from our lawmakers. But the vast majority of the people are not able to do that. And this is the problem we're facing in our country. So when monies are missing and auditors are killed, and when you don't have national security and a president come up and say you have to get CC camera, how many people can even afford one decent meal per day? And a president of a nation, instead of giving people, leaders are there to deal hope. When leaders stop dealing hope in the people, it is time for that leader to step aside and go sit somewhere. You do not go to the leadership of the people and tell them to go buy your own CC camera. Give the people hope. That is what was expected of this president. And he has failed massively to give hope to the Republic of Liberia, especially those uneducated, indigenous, people who have been left in the dark for so long, nothing is doing for them. They have hope in him. They have hope in his story, but now he's a rich man and he doesn't care about those people who cared about him. And so this is when you have to now vote that leader out.
So it's quite interesting things that I'm hearing, and it's not surprising, and that's what I love to have this conversation here. But here is another big chunk of people. I'll be coming to you, Mr. Sen. Here is a big chunk of people. 2023 is right around the corner. You were the only female that stood up to these men, and that was something like I said, okay, wow, we have progressive, and great women in Liberia. But I can tell you, following to Liberian politics and the patterns of our people, the way they vote, I still have that apprehension. We saw what happened when voters were going to the poll. You came a pa, you came a man, I will vote for you. We saw what happening this time around. You know both, you don't know both, I will kill you. Even their decisions are made way ahead of somebody making an announcement. Just bear with us. She's okay. All right, we just lose control. She's going to be coming back. That's the political leader of a movement for One to Liberia. MacDella is here with us, our special guest. Sam, let me just bring you in here a little bit. Hopefully she's going to be joining back here. What are you hearing from this lady here? Sam, are you there?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so what have you gathered so far?
What I'm gathering, is when I think she clearly defined, the system is broken, and she's giving reason, why some of the, these systems are broken. But my question to her is, what can the people or the political party do? And my project was that if we continue, to say these trends continue from now on, to 6 or 3 years from now on, we might, perpetually be putting these people, into power for life. Because everybody going to identify this thing, that this is what I did. It's not what the government did. Because they are using the taxpayer money to say, oh, this is my project. I did it because the money came from me.
Okay. All right, she back with us here. Let me just get a shot here. With all of these things that you have outlined, do you think the opposition, including yourself within the opposition, Black, in your own word, are you guys doing enough to get this sort of information, to have this sort of conversation, to have this political tolerance, to persuade, to convince, to tell Liberians, to tell the electorate, and to give them this sort of red flag? Are you guys doing that now?
Well, we can only do what we can do. We're going around doing exactly what needs to be done, talking to the constituents, talking to the voters, letting people know what we bring to the table, what's different. We're trying to put in systems. And so everyone is going around. But you see, we also are experiencing, of course, what every person trying to obtain or get into office would experience in Liberia at the moment. People are saying, no, you're talking over here, you're coming here, we have to be taught then. We hungry, our children need to go to school, we get hospital, you're coming, we have to be taught. The people are tired. The Liberian people are exhausted. Politicians have come, politicians tell them, give them promises, give them false hope. When they get there, they start believing BB Mansion, 50 horses. People who didn't have 50 hours in their pocket today now get BB Mansion. Right in front of the people's eyes, and the people are still struggling, trying to pull 1 meal a day. 1 meal a day. That's all some of those fathers and some of those mothers and some of those aunties and grandmothers are fighting to put on a children's table. 1 meal per day. And so when we show up, they say, Maraguba, that wasn't you bringing up. Before you can actually engage.
We hear you now. Why you got to say it? Why you got to speak it like that?
Show us something now that all the people want to know. Show us something. So it's the system is growing older and older in this direction, and there has to come a moment where we can turn it around. And this is what needs to be done at this critical stage. If we continue to have an administration that is only interested in money that goes in their pocket and not going into the right direction of our country, we will continue to spin in this vicious cycle of poverty in Liberia. Education is not being pushed. The healthcare system is almost does not exist. And our partners are tired. It's like this child you're trying to help. 173 or almost 74-year-old child you're trying to help. And this child is still trying to crawl. And when it stands to walk, it falls. Stands to walk, it falls. It gets exhausting after a while. We have to now, as a nation, take matters into our own hands. We have got to stop this tribalism, this man, woman, there's all these traditional things that doesn't help anyone. And we have got to bring the right people, our children from the diaspora, smart, who have beat all odds, although things didn't quite work out the way they wanted in the diaspora, but they're still trying to make ends meet, taking care of their families while sending money home. We have got to bring all well-meaning citizens of Liberia to fight this battle for Liberia. Not just us, the politicians. And so we are trying to send a message to the local people to say, we are here. You've seen what they've done. They came to you, they said, Oma, we want y'all, we're down with y'all, we in the trenches with y'all, you know, we come from the ghetto, but now they feel like then they get BB Mansion, they need the Oma there beyond. That is the Oma there now, they want to go to the polls to vote for them again in 2023. But I do hope the Oma gets sense next time in 2023. Because it's not just about who speaks the dialect that you speak. It has nothing to do with who speaks the dialect you speak. It has everything to do with who can create an economic plan, who can take Liberia in its beauty, and go and sell Liberia on a silver platter to the rest of the world, and invite the world to come and say we have a nation that's beautiful, that has all of the resources that we need to sustain ourselves. We're willing to trade with you if you're willing to rightfully trade with us. We want fair trade, we want equal opportunities, we want healthcare. We're going to build those things, but we need you to buy fairly, and we will take care of ourselves. Not to always be having hand out. When people give it, they go base financial, they say, oh, we need help. It's time to take our nation seriously. That is why we go out and we tell people, I sound like I my mom, but the thing I can do for the country, I can sell like Brosa. I can bring opportunity investors. You have to talk about what you can do. It's only a matter of time before the people say, you know that they don't want to say for a long time, let's try here. So we have to wait for our time when they post it with Charles. When the people want to continue to suffer in this direction, then it's up to the voters. We can only present our platforms and what we continue to say. continue to remain committed to saying the same thing over and over.
Let me ask you this, and I want to get a taste of your own political future. You tested the executive branch of government. Are we 2023? Are we going to see a different side of MacDella Cooper, maybe to be a congresswoman or be a senator? Because yeah, are you considering any of these options?
Well, we are planning on doing a national survey to see what, when you go into any election, you have to do a national survey to see your probability of being elected into what office. And so we are working on that national survey at the moment. And hopefully when we get the result, then I'll be able to decide where and what office I'm going to run for in 2023.
But definitely,
so this is where we are.
To put a cap on the head, I said to put a cap on the head, you will be running for an office. You don't know yet.
I don't know which one yet, but we will be inside.
When you decide,
even let me just say this, Alfonso, even if I decide I don't want to run, trust me, I will make the next president.
You do what?
She will be the next president.
We will be a part of making the next president of the Republic of Liberia.
When you decide, will you come here to let us know which direction you're going to be going?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great.
So, yeah. So now you are in the oppositions. And this is where the frustration, some of us in the media industry as well, because they have some immediate outlet that more or less is an amusement center and entertainment center. And both sides playing this sort of narrative, both GOL, the governor of Liberia, and that of the opposition. They become more selective. They do not want to be asked tough questions. So they do not want to go places where they're going to, people are going to dig up things and all of that. Do you think that is helping them? Their folks shield them away. When you even talk to them, when they agreed, the next thing, oh, I can't come because this is X, Y, Z. Is that a winning strategy?
Well, some people think, it might be. They don't want too much exposure. They want to focus on what will get them elected. And again, Alfonso, I'm one of those people who would say a lot of things, but some people saw that anyone can get elected without even doing an interview or doing a debate, and they got elected. So maybe they're trying to try that model. Say, if someone got elected that never participated in a debate or they previously did interviews, maybe it worked for them. So everyone has their own understanding as to, what they think is going to get them elected. So to each their own. But I don't think people should shy away from the opportunity to share the platform with whatever audience, as long as it's Liberians, and we should share our platform. We should be graceful enough to graze the opportunity when we're called upon. So
hypothetical is not my favorite. If you were in the House, be it a senator or representative, and that money was put in there, you, MacDella Cooper, will you sign off for it?
Well, I believe in. Here's what. Like you said, there were a series of meetings that were held. This money was put on the line item, and I'm sure it was clearly defined. That's why it was approved, right? So then we have to go back and look for the line item. What was this fund for? These funds, what was it for? And based on that, if funds are given to the legislature to go out to the district to go do development, it has to be declared. And I think this is where whatever administration or office I'll be in, I intend to audit that office upon my arrival. Any funds that is coming in has to be declared, and my constituents have to be a part of the information distribution process as to what the funds are going to be used for. So to say, sorry, go ahead, Alfonso.
No, yeah. No, I just wanted to add a point because, if it is a law, it is a law. We can't go in the middle of the game to say we want to change something. But what is troubling to some of us, when you hear some lawmakers, I can decide what to do. Okay, you can decide, but it is not your personal money. If you are lawmaker 6 years, 7 years, 9 years, for God's sake, you must, like you rightfully articulated, you must have a plan. You must have an agenda. In the first 6 year term, this is what I anticipate to complete. But you're gonna say, I can decide anything I want to do with it, you can do it. And the ambiguous in it is so much to the extent that we can't even go back to tell them how they use this money. Anybody can buy Ray-Bans and put it on. They can buy whatever shoe. They can pay one school billing and say, well, that's the money. They say, oh, I'm paying 100 people's school fees. You don't even know who the beneficiaries are.
That's right. No accountability.
Yeah, and it's a serious problem. Like, you've been here. If you are not in our district, your lawmaker, they're going to prioritize people, residents of their constituents. They're not going to hire you on the other side. They got to put their people first. That's why when you call for any stadium, you want to talk to congressmen, they will ask you are you resident of this area? If not, they'll say, okay, speak to your congressman or congresswoman. But those things are not happening.
That's right.
Yeah, is the opposition with all of these sort of talking point here, are they doing enough? And let me ask you this here, and hopefully you would give me an answer here, because I need to get an answer to my viewer here. Like you rightfully said, Alexander Cummings of the ANC, Joseph Boyka of the Unity Party. Who are you more or less talking to right now, or who is frequently calling MacDella Cooper?
Both former
please.
VP, both former VP Buckeye and Cummings are my friends, and so we talk as frequently as possible.
Which of the numbers is bossing your phone lines? Who is
Cummings and I speak more often than Buckeye and I.
Cummings.
Yeah, so Alexander Cummings and I speak more frequently.
Is he coming forth?
In terms of
explaining his policy, what he wants to do for Liberia?
Look, I'm not here to run a public relation scheme for Cummings, but I think Cummings, he's a person who is able to clearly state an agenda, and I know he's a good manager, that for sure. I know Cummings to be a very good manager. And so I don't have any reservations that if Cummings were put in a position where he had to govern, or I think Cummings would be able to create an agenda, explain the agenda to the Liberian people. And I know my folks want to say, why are you plugging in Alexander Cummings from ANC? But I'm just saying about my friend. He's a political leader. I'm a political leader. I think he has the ability to clearly define, explain, and be open to audits. And so I think he's I would say that about a friend, someone who I know as a friend.
He gradually winning your soul.
No, there is no winning souls. It's just a reality. It's not a political scores he's gaining here at this moment. I'm just saying I see him to be the person.
Most likely,
yeah.
Most likely. Okay, Mr. Jackson, we will soon be wrapping up. I know she's a very busy woman, so.
Yes, you are talking about joining the winning team. You were being part of the winning team. What happened if you were by another winning team, the CDC? Will you be willing, to join them?
You caught me off guard with that other question. No, there is no chance I will be joining the CDC at this moment. As I sit here, it's I don't suppose I'll be joining the CDC.
No any scenario, no any scenario condition. You're putting you're putting your cards on the table here, and I don't think politicians wants to do that.
No, I'm an unconventional politician. Now, let me tell you, I've said this in the beginning, and I've said this before. If you want to invite me to do something, show me your agenda, and once I read through the agenda, I will be able to then say, okay, I think this is the agenda I can follow. I don't see an agenda from this administration. I don't see one. Like I said, the copy and paste of the SDGs and identifying a series of problems without a solution. Where's the economic plan to back that? Where's the solution to create jobs? Where is the solution to create jobs for those young men and young women who are on the streets in the rain, in the sunshine? You see a handful of individuals who were the poor, and now they're pro-rich. And so where are those underdogs that were in the rain, that were fighting, that was willing to give their life for CDC? They're all still living in the same conditions. They're still fighting to get the first phase. Only the first phase they're fighting for. Most of them can't even see their first phase per day. But you got the people on the upper tier who got the leader's number on speed dial in their phone. They got cars, they got houses, they got any woman they want, they can pick anytime they want, anything they want, they can pick it. And if those young people are still in the rain, they're still in the same, living in tarpaulins, they're still living in the same community that has not reached, development has not reached there yet. I mean, what's the plan? What is this administration's plan? I don't see one. So the question of what if they call me and all of a sudden say, look, we want you to come in to do this, I don't see that happening. First of all, they would never call me. I don't think they would. And number two, if they do call me, I'm going to ask them, where's the plan? Because if you're going to follow a leader's agenda, you have to believe in that agenda. And how do you get someone like me to believe in that agenda? I have to see a plan and say, this is the roadmap. I will say this and I will yield. An old philosopher says, an elephant can walk on any tightrope as long as that elephant understands that that tightrope can hold its weight. You know, elephant, a heavy animal. Right. So until I can see this administration being able to hold this nation's weight, how do I have faith in them? I have zero faith in them.
This is quite. Okay. This is quite.
So can I just, you sound so great. And sorry, we don't have the full panel here today. But would you like to join us again when we have the full panel?
Absolutely.
She's always open, and that's she's. I mean. I can tell you, if for me to give her, if to make her credit score to go through the 3 major credit bureaus here, then it can go. And these are the kind of conversation we really want to have, because sometimes it pains us, some of us who take this as a profession, to talk to our leaders, and that's the kind of thing we want to get out there. So, with all of this that is happening here, I'm trying to pull around here to see what kind of question that I can find. Hopefully you can give me an answer to do. Recently, let me just throw the out. You want to talk about it, yes or no? This issue of this war and economic crime code, I believe we have talked about it. It still is not going away. It's still here. Who is not pushing who? Do you think those guys, Capitol Hill or executive, are they honest with the Liberian people to have the sort of conversation that needs to take place for us to know? Because you kind of like hit on it here, and I grab it where this whole thing comes from. So do we need to go all back here, or is a waste of time? What do we need to know? Where do you stand?
Well, I'm all for the War and Economic Crimes Court, because there's so much crime, economic crime, that's taking place across our nation. And I think people who have committed those crimes, those economic crimes, they need to be questioned, and if convicted, they need to pay back their country, or resources and properties that they've seized, and without proper acquisition, they need to return it. And so I'm for it. And you also have we had a war in our country. Folks who fought the war, who killed our loved ones, they're big shots and they're honorables. Most of them, I'm not sure exactly what's honorable about them. They're walking around our country, putting people in fear, and it's not right. It's a mere violation of someone's right. So I'm all for the War and Economic Crimes Court. And if you feel that you didn't commit a crime, you have nothing to fear. You have absolutely nothing to fear. And so I don't think it should be something where people are questioning. It is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. So I push for the conversation. I think we have to have this conversation even in the schools. Once schools reopen, when they do, we need to have them on every debate stage. We need to find ways to push this agenda. I know it's very expensive. It takes time to actually establish a war crimes court. Liberia doesn't currently have the resources. We have to depend on our development partners or our partners across the board to help us establish this court. So, but there are people who are still living in so much pain because of, all these crimes, whether it's economic, whether it's war. We need to relieve our people. It's already hardship in our country, extreme hardship. People are not able to make ends meet. So these are things that are going to give people the relief to say, my country finally is standing with me. My country is behind me. My country helped me get through this pain. I've been going through for all these years. So I don't see why not. And anyone who's not guilty should not be afraid.
Let me take you back here a little bit here because I follow your activities. Most of these politicians, most of the people, they come, oh, I've been inside a long time, I've been inside years, but we don't have anything else of evidence. And you've been in this vanguard for quite a while. Let me just take you back, and then you can retrospect yourself.
Friends, so I did that, and immediately after, I of course went into a different field.
Yeah, so tell us about after college then. What happens next?
While I was in college, I started doing some modeling around. Photographers. I used to call myself refugee thin. I was so thin as a result of the starvation during the war. We had no food for months and months and months. There'd be no food, but we would eat something little, and we had to share it. And so my system just shrunk. I just became this very thin young woman. So photographers would ask me to do some work, and I did that. And after college, I was already plugged into the fashion industry in New York City, so I just moved here and started working for Ralph Lauren. And that was the career path I took.
Your pictures are so beautiful. We're looking at them right now.
Gorgeous. Can you tell us, please, about the MacDella Cooper Foundation?
The MacDella Cooper Foundation, while I was working for Ralph Lauren, I got some friends together. I was responsible. I eventually left the front, I guess, of the camera and went behind the scene and started working corporate. And I got some friends together to help me out. I said, listen, the conditions in my country really started to pull at me. It was really every day I was in this fabulous setting in New York, jet set in the world, going to all the major parties and scenes in fashion world.
Okay. Why Liberians, why the electorates are not listening?
You have to keep singing this song, and eventually it becomes a nursery rhyme, and they pick it up. So in African politics, you can't come in the first time and get a victory. You have to be in it for a while. You have to be in a game to win the game. So I have to know that. And I know that already. I have to keep singing the same songs over and over, saying the same things over and over. My platform has to stay consistent, and people eventually see my authentic style, and they will hear my message, and they will buy into it. I'm the new kid on the block. I come in and I look too real to believe, I'm this young woman. I have it all together. I have my own resources. I'm not begging anyone in Liberia for anything. Every project I came to Liberia with, I brought the resources behind it. I brought investors. I brought philanthropists. I brought, people across the board. So it's just a matter of time. People will believe it. And so I cannot give up. I must not give up.
Are you running out of patience?
Not at all. No, not at all.
Are you getting?
Not at all. No. Liberia is
How long can you go with this?
Well, there's another lady I know whose name I will not mention now, but she was in the game since the 70s, and she just got elected in her late years. So sometimes it takes 40 years, sometimes it takes 6 years or 3 years, or so. This is why it's good to follow and read the biography and stories of others who came before us. And I know a lot of women, great women who have come before me, and they worked hard, because we, the women, we have to work extra hard, because there's so much against us traditionally, religiously, culturally, and then you have a huge population on education, with lack of education. So people believe whatever. Uneducated bunch tend to believe whatever they're told, and whoever they respect, when they tell them something, they take it and run with it. So we have a lot of work to do for people like myself to be taken seriously.
A lot of work to do. We're going to be bringing the curtain down. But let me ask you the last and final. If and only if you have reached that political decision where you might not be contesting, and that I'm not cutting the cake here, putting sand in the gari here. Will you make an endorsement? Will you get a pick? Because from what we see, Benana Ure is not pivoting towards Omen Boyka. Liberty Party, if you can say it, most likely the skinned. Alexander Cummings now seems to be like a new guy. Also been putting your call-ins. Some of them have defined him. He's a stranger. Maybe he's not one of them or one of us. Will you come to that point if you decide not to contest for the higher office? Will you come to a point to make a major decision in giving your endorsement to another candidate before the primary?
No, not before the primaries. I have to wait a bit and see what happens. But I will, if I do not participate in the election, I definitely will make an endorsement. It is critical that a political leader becomes a person who makes decisions. What he or she, what a decision is not popular, but you have to make a decision. And endorsement is critical. We must not stand on the fence. Even if we're not the one chosen, we have to endorse. So I will endorse if I'm not the one chosen.
So it's a wrong decision politically, and we've been looking at it. They are forming collaborations, and the leaders and major actors, influentials in decision making. We're seeing now walking the war, talking the talk, and most likely pivoting towards one instead of then waiting to see what will happen. Is that a mistake on your side?
No, I think look, it might look like a mistake now, but I think some folks are there trying to make sure one person win. They've already made a decision that this person, I want this person to win from this stage to that stage, and so they're creating propaganda around that person. And people in my own party would do the same. Although I'm not part of CPP, but people in my party would go out and run campaign for me and talk for me in the community. So I think people are using their platform, their position to promote a certain candidate. But both candidates have to know that they're in a race. Like you said, ANC and UP are the leading candidate in CPP. You have ALP and Liberty Party on the sidelines because they are not going to go for the position. And so you have people from those two parties that are now picking sides as to where to go. That's healthy. That's politics. We have to do that. And those individuals who candidate does not win, they will eventually have to align behind the candidate that does win. So irrespective of what you see now, it might look chaotic, but believe me, if you're Liberty Party and you're supporting Cummings, or if you're ALP and you're supporting Buckeye, if either Buckeye or Buckeye or Cummings win, all of those who are behind Buckeye, if he should not win, will go behind Cummings. Everyone, Unity Party, it's part of the agreement. So there'll be no person saying, oh, I can't go behind Cummings because my candidate didn't win. No, the agreement is that they will all have to go behind the person who wins the nomination.
Okay, well, folks, that's how we're going to bring it to a close. You want to say something before we let her go, by Jackson?
Yes, I just assume that you happen to be part of this winning team, and I assume that you people happen to win. Do you have any plan, to craft a policy that will hold legislators accountable for this, legislative project money that they are receiving?
Wow.
Absolutely. And I think that would intertwine with my passion, which is education. I think creating laws first. You have to create a law that legislators must sort of, when they entered office, they have to audit their office. As to what projects were on the books when they got there, everything has to be declared. And when they're in there, any resources that come in, they have to declare it. It has to be a declaration. So I would like to see that bill pushed into something tangible. It has to be made a law. I think there's secrecy in government. The secrecy in executive branch, the secrecy in the legislature is just too much. And everyone's kept in the dark. And those of us who know our rights, sometimes we wait for information, we don't get it, but we have to keep pressing and pushing for it. And there's some good gals and guys who are in there, who are already doing this. So it's not everyone across the board. But for those who are keeping their offices, operations so quiet, you don't know what they're doing, I think we have to put some demands on them. The law must stand and say, declare.
Okay, well, folks, in Radio Land, we have been talking to the political leader in Liberia, the group Movement for One Justice, Madam MacDella Cooper, making a second appearance right here on the Liberia Public Radio. And that's part of the community. That's part of her being currently away from Liberia in Dakar to honor our invitation. I didn't even know that, but I want to say a big thank you to your special A who helped to facilitate and making sure everything, man. She was what a man. She conducted like an extensive interview on me. Really? Ooh, that's my first time seeing special assistant working so effectively like that in Liberia. That was awesome. I want to
good team
so much for chipping in here, and I'm waiting to see when your political decision is made or which way you're going to be putting your cars on. what is the last word do you have for us as a Liberians, my listeners, and for the country? We are in a very consequential and desperate time. I don't know how many of us or how many really fall into what is happening. Some people think 2023 is still far, but I can tell you it's right next.
Absolutely.
Preparations is very key.
That's right.
What you want us to take away from this talking point here today?
Well, I first want to thank you and Sam for creating this platform or having this platform to have us come and share our positions. But what I would say to the Liberian people, we have to put Liberia first. And I don't mean to sound like a cliche, but we have to put Liberia first. Collectively, our agencies of government, our agencies, it needs to work for everyone. So we have to start demanding that our lawmakers, our leadership answer our questions. We must not forget what is it we want as a nation, and make sure those who represent us are representing us in a way that those dreams will become a reality. And so I will say continue fighting for Liberia. There's so many of you out there who are doing great things for our country on your own. Continue to do it. We appreciate you. We thank you. And our nation will not stand without you. So I want to say thank you for listening to me and being on this show today. So may God bless all of you.
Madam Kopo, thank you so much and stay safe. And please take your vaccine.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a blessed day.
Right. Okay, so Mr. Jackson, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Alfonso.
That's my second time I have an and there seems to be some consistency in her tone, and I speaking on things here. But how can we deal with our electorates? And she's mentioned something because there's a culture, something that people are used to. So I don't care what kind of million ideas or agenda that you have. When you go there and say, yeah, Papa, you talk everything. So what you say now? How you living? How you going? Now, people with such a principles, they might not want to compromise that. And that's where the problem is coming from. How can we twist this whole ball around?
I don't know what is the cause, that her message is not resonating, to the voters. I don't know, because of education or maybe financial, the aspect of the financial issues as one of those things. I don't know, but she's a very bright and sound person, and I think that she has much to offer if she was to give the opportunity. So I don't know why the ruling party have not been able to tap into her resource. I strongly believe that she could be somebody that the opposition could use as a voice and for the general race if they want to.
Yeah, now not the ruling establishment, the opposition. You heard me. She was very crystal clear. I say, well, you want to marry somebody, you got to tell them. So if somebody needs you, they have to reach out. Even though these guys, individuals, they are calling. Do you think they need to do that sooner or later?
Oh, sure. To me, if I were running, I need to use her really, because she's a very sound person, and she gets, I think she has some expertise that they could tap into. And it seems that maybe this is my first time listening to her really, and she blew my mind. And if I were in the position of recruiting, I will start finding places that I will able to put her to talk to the general race, to see how best she can bring people on board. One of the areas that people have not tapped into, and they just use it for political, is the Liberia Marketing Association. Is I'm telling you, they need somebody to come on, with agenda. Those people raise money, but the money nobody know how it's being going on. And somebody need to come and start teaching them where you will sway their mind. But if you will sit down being the same, I don't think you will get things done. And this is the time opposition party need to come together to tap into good resource of those people, that have the idea.
She's very smart. You can't easily boss her around with questions asking who. You say, well, comment is a frequent caller, but he's not making it. From what you sense of from that to say, oh, comment always calls. They always talk, and he's from corporate America. Administratively seems to be minded. What do you make of that? Do you think the conversation ongoing, and perhaps will, if and only if, last time she was on the ticket for 2027, she went into a debate and all of that. She was very vocal. She talked on things that she believes in. But she was very careful in handling the questions of the collaboration party, even though she's not part of the collaboration. But I think she does support their agenda in making sure that this government is a one-term government. Did they need to go further step to get her on board because she has her own party?
Yes, I think you asked one question that she doesn't want to come in, so fast because she want to see race will go before. But I strongly believe that it's a discussion going behind the scene that will cause her, in times to come. And I don't know, coming name start bringing in her mouth, whenever coming.
And that political sentiment. And that political sentiment, Mr. Jackson, it could be there. You remember her saying, I'm a new kid on the block. Not really a kid, but I'm a new person. So they're going to take time to know me. So there seems to be some empathy right now with Cummings. Cummings came first. So since Cummings has not been in the picture, I was like, okay, let me put myself in the shoe of Cummings. This is what they did to me. And that's what they are doing to Cummings now is a pattern. So you know what? Yeah. Let me side with this person here. That seems to be the interpretation to me.
Yes. That's why it's show. And if I were her, I would prefer, to appear on this show more so that people were able to hear her voice. And this is how Cummings is winning the show by appearing, on his network, giving his agenda out. Today, I believe that so many people heard her, and I strongly believe that in time to come, she will be appearing more on most of the network.
And she's always, and, there are some people, they say one apple spoil everything. She's very organized, or special assistant. When I send the invitations, they say, oh, get to my my SA. Yes. And when I send that message, they were very spontaneous. Got back to me. When do you want to have the interview? What is the time? Yeah. And she almost like conducted a very interview on myself. What are you going to be talking about? What are you going to do? How are you going to work? How we can find it? Stuff like that. You see, that's how organizational structure looks like. Yes. You have Joseph Boyka, George Lobo, and their friends and other few people. They hiring Joseph Boyka. They do not want Joseph Boyka to go to any other place. Yes. Now, fair to say, we are reached out to all of them. Comment kind of a little bit loosening up now. We must give it to him. But I think they need to do that because when they begin to shield people, it gives me that apprehension like, wait a minute. We're crying, we're talking about the McGee, the Samuel Tuwe, the Jefferson Koji. That's how this little wall of Jericho is being built by these people because they are not even there and they can't even allow people to get their number. When you ask the person, okay, you wait a minute, I will call this person and this person will call that. So think about it. When they go on the airflow there, who's going to see them? They're alone. And they will begin to regulate these people and they will begin to control our lives. That's my fear. So if these people can come over, they're looking for the job, they want to be president for me, for my country, and they don't want us to have a conversation, that's a serious problem.
Well, I think, the war will soon be crumbling down, as soon as we, approach 2023, because if you try to, put a war, the only way it will come down is to pass through, I think the trumpet will blow it down to me. People start, if they know what I know, 2023, it cannot be 2017. I can tell people things are changing gradually. And if you know what I know, you start connecting yourself, and with the vote, and with the voters. Or else people are not going to hear you that much. You don't have to wait until you can give 2 bags of rice to people, or you give them $25. People are getting sense. Dallon Durham was one of those who broke the ice. So people will not depend on it that, because we allow the people to get hungry, can we get them back? That order will pass. I can tell you the fact.
Okay, if we were to ask you before we go here to be here to provide free consultancy here, we're going to make it equal, proportional here to both the government and the opposition here. And let's start with the underdog. The underdog is the opposition. What do they need to do now if their message is to resonate? If they are to position themselves as alternative to that of President George Weah. What do they need to do now? What are they not doing?
Well, to me, what they need to do is to make sure, that, as Darrell Dillon said, is to make sure, that they shine a light. And it means that they need to bring that will be in favor of, of the electorate. That is, make sure that you tell them about, what government, and looks like, and how things will be all right, when they are. We don't have common things like water. These are the basic necessities in Liberia. Health care. Believe it, during the COVID time, what $75 is being, given, for people who enter the country. 75 given for people out of the country. Then $50 for people, who coming from the West African region.
I don't know. They have this sort of different payment.
Yeah. If you put that money together, it should be able to at least buy ordinary things, that they want, and for the COVID, the PPE. You won't tell me that if you go in a hospital, they don't have ordinary, gloves. I have my cousin just died because they went, into the hospital and there is no fan. There's no ventilator. Just imagine, Cali Hospital. So where is this $75 going? I thought there was a plan, and she have it. I must admit, she spoke on it. These are the things the government need, the opposition need to bring out. Let them sell it to the, to the electorate. That this is why you have, this is your benefit, this is your money, your taxes that you're paying. You can't just sit down and just say that you will be voting on a bag of rice or rice. They need to stop that. And I feel that they need to tell people now for them to know that their functions, what the benefit looks like. You can't stay in a country that when you put in for LEC, I can tell you, if LEC came to the country a long time ago, you can stay right here, where you are now, and put in, for any electricity, to come to your house without going there. In Liberia, you won't believe it. You have to run beyond a year to year before you can get, a light. Are you telling me that we are in an old system now? And we are talking about the old progressive, the new progressive. What? There's no difference between them. You have to make sure that you differentiate these things and tell the people, the young people. We are converted, from riding a car to pen. And pen will be the order of the day now.
Wow. Okay. If the CDC-led government is for them to survive, let's make it fair and balanced yet. What do they need to do? Where are they falling and they need to recover? What do they need to do?
They need to account for things, that the money they took. We still have not been clear with the 16,000. The 25,000 that they say for COVID, they cannot even give account. They are getting money every day for airport, for coronavirus. The people are in a hospital, no bed. What, something? No food. Why are we so poor? It's because, and we are not being able, one person getting everything. We're talking about $30,000. They're talking about it began off from the start dishing another more $15,000. Alfonso, be honest to tell you, if you cannot pay your staff at NPR, but you decide, to give the board member, and $20,000, do you think the worker will ever feel good?
Not at all.
They need to speak.
Not at all.
One of the things in the country, the criminal justice system is very, very weak. Nobody want to enforce anything because people will get them. Recently, people taking COVID tests before they leave the country, they can get results. Tell me, for you to miss your flight, you know what I mean? You should be at work the next day. What excuse do you give? And then you have to reschedule because it's not the airline business. The government need to know the importance of these things.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. We just want to bring to our audience here. Yesterday, we were to host the newly deputy minister for public affairs, Jalawet Tompo, and he didn't show up, and we really beat on him. But I managed to get a message here. We'll reschedule. Apparently, at the time the program schedule was scheduled yesterday, there was emergency situations. Most of you have seen that. They even sent a video here from the press conference held by Commissioner Lane Eugene Nambe. There was a vessel going, I believe, to the east, to this east coast, not east coast, to the southeastern side, and it was, I believe, a capsized. I now had a chance to go through that, but the story is already out, and so the Ministry of Information, they needed to have gone there to do some things, and that was one of the reasons that Minister Tompo did not show out. So at least Director of MICAT, Lawrence Famolet, managed to reach out, and at some point in time we scheduled our interview.
Okay.
It better late than never. I mean, emergency is an emergency, so I believe they have to attend that. But at least they used their good conscience to get back to let us know what was the situation, and not just only letting us know. I forgot, I just didn't download this video from the press conference that was convened. So at least, they told us, so it's good to also point that out here. All right, Mr. Jackson, I want to thank you so much for being here this evening, because everybody seems to be on a good evening here. 11th rescue from sinking Nico Ivanka at 1517 still missing.
Yes.
So our prayers and thought goes out. I think this is a kind of vessel do a routine taking people from Morovia to the southeastern side and all of that. And so, but talking about 1517 still missing, that's huge. That's very huge. Our prayers and thought go out. There's a rescue process on the way going. 11th, according to what front page is reporting, 11th already been to rescue. But you talk about 15 to 17 missing, so that's still huge. Those are Liberian people. So our prayers and thought goes out to the family and the government are doing everything possibly they can to rescue these people. What's your final word before we go?
Well, I want to say thank you very much, and I want to say thank you to NPRO for bringing, Madam Cooper. I hope she can one day find herself, on the show when we have the full panel, because she is very interesting. And I also want to tell NPRO, that if we can bring in more people, we're looking up, to Alexander Cummings. I hope, that we can.
We are in discussion, hopefully,
Yes.
I think we have done what we have done. We talked to some people that are close to them, and like I say, our analyst contributors, not just only them, people from the government, state actors, major actors, we want to have them here to have a conversation to get their thoughts on national issues as well. So as long as they are available, hopefully they are listening, and we'll open our microphone to them and we'll have that conversation.
Okay.
All right. So thank you so much, and I thank you for being part of my talking point here today.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Okay, well, all right, folks. That's how we're going to do it to our beautiful people. For those of you joining us for the first time, this is Liberia Public Radio, LPR TV. I want to thank you so much. You can go on the Facebook. In the Facebook search engine, you type in Liberia Public Radio. You can follow us. You can go in a YouTube search engine. You can also type in Liberia Public Radio channel and follow us. That way you're going to get a light, subscribe, hit the bell button, and there will be a drop down. Type on all notifications. That way you are alerted when LPR is on, and you can form part of what we're going to be discussing. You can send a message, send a suggestion, and tell us things that you want us to talk about. Not necessarily everything can be politics, but it has dominated our life. There are a lot of social and economic issues, infrastructure, all of that. Different variety of issues that makes up the country. So whatever you want us to talk about, let us know, and we're going to be talking about that.
Yeah, let's get go. Yeah, let it go. Yeah, me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Yeah, me let it go.
I want to thank you so much. We're going to let it go here. That's beautiful Liberian gospel music here, fading away right here from the nation's capital. Is that Angazi Dwalu? Thank you so much for your contribution here this afternoon. I hope this is not going to be your last time. I followed us, send your suggestion.
And I know it's painful. No way to wait.
Josh Nimland, thank you so much.
Oh, your best friend is not your secret in English. Let it go.
And of course, Prince Menyedaba.
Your husband I fall in love. We are not a woman.
And of course, KW Cole, smart lady. Thank you so much, Cole, for being here.
If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if they say you will continue to be a zogo.
And of course, our prime time members, I'm talking about Mr. Mikey Manu. Mikey, good afternoon. Hopefully, you are having a beautiful, beautiful Sunday.
You will continue to be a beggar. You will not marry. You will not bear your own children.
Grace, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are. I'm talking about Grace Talu.
Sunday go to meeting. Mommy can say no, Johnny Ginger. Just let it go.
Mr. Ty George Blatt, thank you so much. And of course, Tanian Celebrate right there from the Garden City, of course, always here and supporting the cause of the Liberia Public Radio.
Let it go, let it go. Lord, help me, let it go, man.
Zog Hardrick, thank you so much. One player, Agostino. That one, I don't know that one. Guys, we're going to be breaking the curtain down here, right now.
Hello. Nobody do it like you do it. You a true God. Yes. You always hear me when I say.
I know where that we can leave. Our man Yusuf is based in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Not a single day when LPRA is on, Yusuf would not be here. Yusuf, hopefully you are doing great. Nigeria is doing okay. Thank you for your support, for always being here to listen to us.
But there is power in your blood, and what I'm giving praises. Yes. I gotta dance the dividends. They think I'm getting crazy, but love is how you make it better.
Princess Evans, thank you so much. David Sengbe, thank you so much. And our man Duaro right here in the Bay State of Massachusetts, thank you so much for your time.
My Papa bless me, then my enemy they get invest. No matter what the
I'm not forgetting to Regina G.
It's not your denial, everybody know. Just keep on trusting in Jehovah, he will give you more. He took me from the grass, he can take you from the rock and roll. Yeah.
And Isaac Nyongbauka. That's the Vice President of the Grand Cadet Association right here in the United States. And Abu Bibeto Fofana is based in the Empire State of New York, formerly of the Trump War.
Let it go.
I'm not sure whether they make it a Trump Tower with him in Florida.
Let it go. Lord, help me, let it go. Your people are so.
If for any reason we did not meet your expectation here today, we want to say we are sorry, but not apologetic, because we have a way of doing things here. We don't amuse, we don't entertain. We are more or less information sharing. That's what we want to do, because there's a lot of stake in Liberia across the world, our community, and even in our own backyards. And it's important that we have this conversation. But this conversation must be kept in the context of civility. And that's what we always try to do right here on the Liberia Public Radio. Until then, folks, I'm Alfonso Zienso. This is the informative news magazine, Thai Freedom Watch. By God's willing, same time, same station. We're going to be right back here in the coming week with more programming that will tend to shift the destiny and the talking point of Liberia. Until then, have a pleasant afternoon. And I will see you. Please stay safe. The COVID is still real.
I'm Isaac Zawalo. I am an instructor here at the Arlington Career Center. I'm an instructor of mathematics. Mostly I teach the dual enrollment math classes for the Arlington Career Center. I've been here in Arlington for about 16 years. I originally come from Liberia, a small country on the west coast of Africa. It was established by free slaves from the United States. In Liberia, I'm involved with a series of educational projects. I own 2 schools, an elementary school in the capital city, Monrovia, and a secondary school about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia in a little town where I grew up called Kakata. Well, the secondary school is called Giddings Polytechnic Academy. It's located about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia.
Now, what makes Giddings Polytechnic Academy to be the best school is that at the Giddings Polytechnic Academy, we are introduced to electives such as drafting, nursing, business, journalism and creative writing, and agriculture. That's not all. We are also having a free access to the internet, and we are also introduced to ICT, that is the information communication technology.
The school is changing lives. Our parents are coming to the school and they are telling us, one, our teachers are consistently in class. Our students, the school is fenced, so our students remain on campus for the most of the day. The level of instruction, I've been told, is at the highest possible level for Liberia. In fact, it is projected that our enrollment will increase from 230 to about 500 for the next academic year. We are seeking help when it comes to technology, as I indicated. Any kind of resources that will help students to do better, textbooks, use textbooks, anything that will help ease the situation of our students. Anything will be appreciated. No, I look forward to seeing a relationship being built between the school in Liberia and our community here in Arlington. I consider Arlington my second home, and so I would want to see my two homes connecting.
All right, that's Professor Asese Lagbo-Zawolo. He's our own contributor here doing extraordinary work in Liberia. We're going to be getting more details of that school, and by the grace of God, we'll do everything possible we can to enhance his project, what he's doing there.
Ya yo le anuole kona la sele coronavirus be ya be anuole la bia se anuole le sese mo kona le sese mo me sese o wa bi ate so amo ye kwa sese kwa bo aple kwa kople mini don wa iko pa ile mo I ti se bo iko pa ile mo I kwa no play pega iko pa ile mo I pe ya ibe mo bi bo aga I pe ya ibe mo I de ile lo go ile ke lo mi me be e lo avro mo.
Love is all we need to make it see. This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart, let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have a peace of mind. Unify and have a peaceful